wrote demos for about 2 months, and then got in the studio with a producer, and that took about 6 months. I feel like it's pretty subconscious for me. I grew up singing in choirs, and that has, I think, clearly had a big influence in the way I do my vocals, and as far as the way I layer them, and I'm really focused on getting like strong layered vocals with like interesting harmonies, and I think a lot of that comes from just when I was little, and like that was my first real exposure to any sort of like musical expression for me, you know, other than school choir. So that, and then on top of that, it's like I play harp, but I'm not like a classically trained harpist, so I've kind of taught myself over the last 8 years how to kind of explore this instrument, and I'm still learning it, but it's worked its way in there in a lot of ways. I think I'm just proud of, I mean, as far as like a favorite track, that would be something different, but I'm proud of the package that I created. I think it turned out like really, I think it's really strong. Like I'm really, like the EP, I put it out, and people really responded to it, but I had a lot of insecurities about the music, and felt a little bit like immature at points, and I feel like I was focused on creating something that was just a little more sophisticated, and it had like a little more depth to it, as opposed to just like kind of love songs that I was writing at the time. So I feel like this album is much more of me in it than anything I've ever done before. Some of my favorite tracks, like Way Too Fast, the last song I made, it's real close to my heart for sure. It's anything. It's a very like, it's personal for me in a lot of ways, but I tried to somewhat depersonalize the lyrics to a certain extent, so that people would be able to glean like their own feelings and their own experiences of shitty relationships or good relationships, or you know, just make you think about people that you love in your life, people that you've lost, people that maybe you could have spent your life with but it didn't happen, or people that you see at work that you fantasize about. Just like all these different things, like I think that we all feel as far as like love and sex. I kind of wanted to focus in that realm and make kind of like a sexy album in a weird way. I don't know if it comes off that way. But yeah, I think that was kind of like where I was going. I'm excited to travel new places. We're going to Iceland in October, Norway, Japan, and like just being able to like explore the world a little bit. It's a great opportunity to meet new people. And I'm excited to talk to people, you know, after the show, and to see how the music has kind of worked its way into their life. I mean, I've already played a show in Houston where the guy drove to Chapel Hill afterwards. He's like, dude, you just don't see it until you're out here, you know what I mean? Like people can write on their Facebook wall or like MySpace you or something, but you don't really feel it until they're like in front of you, holding your hand, and like that song really like was big for me, like at this point in my life. Like, this is what it's all about, you know, because I've been there before listening to music as a music head myself, and it's just, I'm excited about that for sure. I did this festival called Deja Fest in Raleigh. It's a small festival. We do Moog Fest in October. Yeah, so we're going to be touring with M83 and probably do Fun Fun Fest and like a few other things. So I'm super excited about that.
If you could play any festival, what would you pick? Your dream festival?
I think I've already been booked for my dream in Reykjavik. I've been wanting to go to Iceland for a long time, and I've seen images of people like they set up stages in front of like the hot springs. So people are like in the mud bath, like all covered in mud, like zoning out to your music. I think that's pretty cool.
Did you get to explore Philly at all when you were here? I didn't.
A little bit. I know Philly pretty well since I'm from Jersey, so like I grew up in the region and sang in Philly Boys Choir for a long time. I like Philly a lot.
What's your favorite thing?
I like coming back here and seeing a lot of my friends. You know, like I said, I grew up here and see a lot of like my really good old friends, like childhood buddies that I grew up with that I don't get to see very often. They're all here. You know, and I moved to LA when I was 13 and never really came back. And so it's good to kind of revisit those friendships. And that's the thing about tours. You get out on the road and you start seeing all these people you've never seen normally because you'd never be in Cleveland or wherever the hell you are. And it's beautiful to like get out and see people. The bassist, Stratton, we went to school together in Boulder. So we went to college together. Our tour manager, Gabe, we went to college with him as well. Brennan, the drummer, we just met about 6 months ago. He is from Virginia. And he was in LA with another band and it didn't work out. And I was looking for a drummer and we met and he's amazing. And so we just started playing together and it just kind of Peter Gabriel's album Car. Really awesome album. It's an album my dad used to play a lot when I was little. Really amazing, powerful songs that I think have been a huge inspiration